Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sam, United People's TV. Feeling a little bit better for myself today. Rocking the third kit. Who was it got down there? Mikey saying, oh, Sam's rocking the third kit. Third kit's just got released. I'll be honest. I like this one. Probably the best of the three kits. I never really care about, the home kit is, 4% different from last year. There's an extra bit of black on the sleeve. Oh, good. Anyway, third kits are always fun. Got released today. I'm going to run through that. You know what the headline for today's show is. Basically every show, really, until we get a yes or a no. It's going to be about Carlos Baleba. Quite a few updates from The Athletic, from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell. We'll run through all of those. We'll speak about Garnacho and Chelsea. Yeah, speak about that. Speak about Hojlund and Newcastle. We'll cover everything. It's going to be a busy show today. That's why I'm a couple of minutes late. Also, the software wasn't working, so I got it all sorted. Let's see who's here from the mods and the members gang. And throughout the show, please get involved. Fire in your comments, and I'll try and engage with as many of you as I possibly can. It's going to be a busy one today, I think. Steph, good morning to you. Who else got here? Carl, you're there as well. Josh, you'll be there, no doubt. We've got Daz, we've got Sam the Flan Man. Sam the Flan Man. Steve, good morning to you. We've got Freddie, we've got Gaz, we've got Ray, Zach, Steve. Plenty of non-members as well. We've got Bruno, 8, not that Bruno. We've got Shuvo, All-Stars, Gus Ringers. Good morning to everybody. Thanks for all tuning in. Right, let's get on with it. And let's start with this new kit. I mean, anything that's got Berbatov in, you're probably going to be a bit involved there. Man, Berbatov. That was at the time where United just... We were spoilt for attackers at that time, weren't we? Yeah, Rooney, Ronaldo just left. Ronaldo left. No, Ronaldo and Berbatov in the same squad. Tevez was there. Anyway, what do you think about third kit? I think with third kits, you're allowed to be a bit more adventurous, I suppose. I suppose you could technically be adventurous with away kits, but not really. I like this. I can see down there quite a lot of you like it. The Flair, Mr. Flair himself. Woo! Oh, Rick Berbatov. Dimitar Flair. Anyway. I quite like these as well, by the way. I don't know what range that is. I always prefer the minimalist stuff. You know exactly what it's a nod to? That kit right there. That Cantona kit is exactly where this has been inspired from. And, yeah, I think we all love this one. Well, we all love that black one. I like it, right? Apart from Wheel Deal down there who says, personally, I think it's bloody horrible. Cheer up there, mate. Kits are kits. Anyway, let's speak about transfers. Now, this is one that just kind of like, you have to sit and, I'm sorry, but you just have to smile at just how much worse it continues to get for Newcastle this summer, right? But speaking about Newcastle, I won't say too many bad things about them because they might sign Hojlund. So I've always been a Newcastle fan. Anyway, look, Isak is adamant he won't play for Newcastle again. Even if it closes without him leaving, his career is over. No wish to reintegrate. They have got an unhappy bunny. It's always that balancing act that you have to take as a club, right? In terms of if you do want to sell a player or you don't want to sell a player, and even if they want to push for a move, how much do you hold on to them? Newcastle have got a player who's likely to break the British transfer record, who literally doesn't want to put on their shirt again, doesn't want to reintegrate into the team in any way, shape or form. What a shame. I mean, they could always sign Šeško. Never mind. They can't sign Šeško. This one is, at the start of the show, by the way, I always look at news around United for the first couple of minutes. Rodrigo to City. Kind of felt a little bit obvious when you saw the Savinho to Spurs conversations. Feels like a peak City transfer, that, really. Why do you think more clubs haven't come in for Rodrigo when it sort of seemed that, well, it felt like his exit from Madrid was always possible? No links from, did Liverpool really need him? Don't know. Bayern Munich, they've gone on to sign Luis Diaz. They weren't in for him. Bit of a strange one, I think. Is it a strange one? Don't actually know. David is saying, surely this means Liverpool will pay less for Isaac. I mean, probably. Someone down there saying some players are just childish these days. Well, certainly Alejandro Garnacho certainly falls into that category. Selling Isaac is the only logical move right now. Hopefully he just stays. And then one more little bit of news. Probably I'm a little bit jealous of this one, if I'm being completely honest. Spurs and Eze. I think Eze's a class player. I suppose he kind of falls into the exact same category as Cunha and Mbeumo, right? If you're going around the Premier League and you're picking out the best players, you're picking Wolves' best player is Cunha, Brentford's best player is Mbeumo, Brighton's best player is Baleba, Palace's best player is Eze. I think that'll be a class signing for Spurs, unfortunately. And yet, as I said, there is a lot of news. We still a couple more things I want to run through before we get into the actual transfer news and we speak about Baleba. 30. That is going to be Šeško's shirt number. That was the shirt that he wore at Red Bull Leipzig. Now, Diego Leon came in and he was given the 30 shirt. But I don't particularly think it had any sort of... He didn't really have an affiliation with it. So he was fine passing it on. Šeško will be happy with that. He's got the same number that he had at Leipzig. And this, one more thing here. Sorry, I'm not really reading the comments out too much here. There's quite a lot of news for me to get through before I even get to the point where we can have a conversation about Carlos Baleba, and I think it all needs to be covered. This, I think, is quite important. The 1958 have announced the postponement of the protest against Arsenal, which is absolutely the right thing to do. But I just think it was a poor decision from them to even organise it in the first place. And this is where it all depends on, I suppose, where your not where your priorities are, but like what affects you the most. And I think what Ineos are doing this summer in terms of the signings is extremely impressive. But I think United fans, United season ticket holders and United match goers, I think have had a pretty raw end of the stick, or raw end of the deal, sorry, when it comes to what's gone on under Ineos so far. That's why this protest was put ahead, but because of what's going on this summer, that's why there was such backlash to it. So I think it's the right thing for them to do to postpone it, but I think if they just did a little bit more groundwork and actually thought of the wider condition, I suppose, of United right now, I don't think they would have done that protest in the first place. Someone's saying the protest should still go ahead just without targeting, you mean Ineos, not the Glazers? No, they postponed it. I think it's the right thing to do. Now let's crack on with the full show. 9 minutes, had to cover all of those stories, and now we can speak about Baleba. It still surprises me that we're having this conversation. And what it feels like is, it almost feels like United are trying to get 2 windows. Are they trying to get 2 windows worth done in one summer? Maybe not, because I think a number 6 signing has always been on the cards. Yesterday, I covered the full story, right? On Baleba. All the reports today, and I keep saying about how I'm annoyed that Indy Kyler is now getting sort of held up as, let's go to him for Baleba updates. No, you kind of, don't be silly. Really. Let's see if he continues to break. And it's just, I will not be ever doing a headline on anything from that, and it just pisses me off because I just don't think it has integrity. But Baleba, I covered this yesterday, and I'm going to cover the latest from The Athletic this morning from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell. We already ran through this. United have been in talks with Baleba's camp for, just over a week now? I think so, just over a week. Man, it is going to be loud outside my house for a while because I've got some work that started. So we've got diggers outside. It's all good fun. Rather distracting when you're sat and you're trying to have a whole conversation with people, considering I'm right next to the front window. It is what it is. Yeah, the Ornstein cosign is basically why now people are just considering Indy Kyler as an actual source that we can all trust, despite the fact that he spent 6 years as a parody transfer account. This is from Laurie Whitwan. I'll run through the Athletic article now. Carlos Baleba is keen on the move to Old Trafford. And this is a new one, an interesting one. Multiple United players have been in touch to explain the setup, and I'll run through that in a little bit more detail. Skepticism remains about the potential transfer fee, which we all know, but United have had a strategy, right? We have had a strategy that I think clearly is working. We're trying to get him to effectively hand in the transfer request. I covered that in the full story yesterday. Let's get a little bit more detail here from The Athletic. Competition, this is what they're saying. The competition next summer is set to be fierce, so United are effectively trying to step ahead of it. Do you think the competition for Baleba next summer would be... I suppose, has anybody been in for him? And that's kind of... Yeah, when you think about it, that is kind of a fair point. Who would be in for him next summer? Probably Liverpool. I imagine City. See the Rodrigo injury. I see that as well. Right, let's sit down here. Right. Anyway. So apparently that's part of why United are moving. Are moving faster because they're trying to get a head start on anybody that would want him next summer. Baleba is keen on the possibility of a switch to United, and personal terms would not be a problem. So, again, I've covered and spoken about all this. No one's with any sort of reputation has said that Baleba has agreed personal terms, but they're really not going to be. They never were going to be an issue. It's simply, and this, I don't mean this in an offensive way to any Brighton fans who are tuning in for some reason, but it's just about scale of club. Manchester United are never going to struggle to match and beat the wages of a player who plays for Brighton. It just won't happen. Donnarumma, which I'll speak about next, there's a conversation you probably have to have about the wages and about the fact that his demands may well be what in excess of what United are willing to do. But Baleba was never going to be an issue in terms of personal terms. And that's a new bit of information there. A number of United players have been in contact with Baleba about a transfer to Old Trafford, explaining the current landscape and ambitions. Boomer getting on the phone. Nana getting on the phone. I mean, it's a smart play. Is that tapping up? That's what I mean. How we kind of speak about this most days now about what is tapping up anymore. Is it tapping up if a club on the sly tells its players to just get in contact with somebody who they might be an international teammate with? I think that's kind of always been the case. You're like, agent someone. Like, I don't know. Say we were Agent Onana when we were linked with Mbeumo, stuff like that. I imagine that happens all the time, really. Cost of any transaction would be a significant hurdle to overcome, and we already know that. I still personally feel that this lad is a 100 million plus. No such thing as tapping up since agents became a thing. I think that's incorrect. But the growth in the power of agents has changed what is allowed and what people can stop. And he can't stop international teammates having a chat. He's keen on joining. It's not. We haven't reached a point where he wants to join Manchester United. I was quite specific in not using that word in today's headline. Because he's not forcing his way out. If he wants to join United, he'll kind of do what Alexander Isak. Like, this man wants to leave Newcastle. This man does not want to play for Newcastle again. I'm not reintegrating. I'm not doing anything. That's a transfer request. Baleba just getting his head turned. And the strategy has worked. His head is turned. He's interested in United. We've already sort of... I'd be more surprised than anything at this point if we don't bid for him. Now, there is no bid that's gone in. I'll be interested to know here, right? Fire it in the chat. What would you expect United's bid for Baleba to be? Because I don't think this is one where you can even consider lowballing. I think that's an absolute waste of your own time, and it's a waste of everyone's time to try and go in with 60 million plus add-ons for Baleba. It's just not going to get accepted. Now, we've seen previous reports suggesting that United felt that 70 million was thereabouts going to be the fee, maybe with add-ons on top. I think 70 million, you've got absolutely no chance as well. I actually thought that our first bid from Bumo was pretty reasonable, 55 million. Obviously, we signed him for 71. But I didn't think that was a low ball off of the original one. David, you'd think 100 mil? Straight away 100 mil. Can't see that. Even if I think it might be what we need, I don't think that will be the first offer. 85, someone says down there, 90 plus 10. 90 mil. Quite a few of you are saying 90 plus 10. That's the only sort of, I suppose, figure that we've seen linked, and that again came from IndyColor. And how you doing? You're saying start with 75 plus 15 in add-ons. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be around 90 mil. It's going to have to be. And I think what's become clear here, and this is actually covered by The Athletic, right? Let me scroll down here. Did I put this down here? Yeah. Right. United are not expected to submit a bid for Baleba unless they believe there is a chance of success. Their signing so far came in a 60 to 70 million range. And this bit down here, right? Giving United a degree of flexibility is on cash is an extension to their revolving credit facility. So what it looks like, that chart, and I covered this last week when I said, right, okay, well, how can United actually pay for even Šeško? I said, number one, it'd be pretty cool if there was a random announcement, well, not a random announcement, but when the new Carrington got unveiled, it was actually the new Ineos training facility, and then they paid. That actually didn't happen. I still a bit confused as to why it didn't. It felt like such an easy and obvious opportunity, and for Ineos, from a brand perspective, to be the training facility sponsor when it's all brand new, it felt right, but it didn't happen. But we may well be doing this on the credit card. That, for me, feels like the most logical thing right now. We'll speak about sales in a bit. And it's something to really... I've highlighted it in red there, okay? Because I think that's really important. United spending this summer... I mean, it really looks like it's going to be our record... What is our record summer in terms of signings? Let's have a quick look at that. I don't know off the top of my head. What would I say? Ole, when we signed Maguire and Sancho, I think we spent north of 200 mil then. Manchester United transfer history. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember what summer we've actually spent the most in. Let's have a look. These are all in euros, by the way. Just that's how Transfermarkt works. So he's got 229 mil for this summer so far. Bloody hell. Last summer, 246 million euros. Summer before, 210. Summer before that, 243. That was what year? 2022-23. 243, 142. 243 is currently the highest. 185. So 243 million euros, is that right? I think that's the one. Unless there was a Louis Van... Well, that Louis Van Gaal summer. Was that one there? Of course, inflation and stuff like that. But it looks like, for all intents and purposes, if we do sign this man, it's going to be a club record summer. We wouldn't have spent more in a single window than it looks like we're going to be spending this window. And it's not just Manchester United. It's kind of why I brought it up at the start of the show. Eze and Savinho to Spurs. City and Rodrigo on top of everything they've already spent. Liverpool, they're going north of 300 mil. Arsenal, they're going 200 mil. Like, Chelsea, they spent over 200 mil. Like, we talked about the Super League. Like, the Premier League is the goddamn Super League. Like, the money is crazy. And this is in a summer where we bloody finished 15th. So, I mean, this isn't about United buying the league. This is United trying to match what everyone else is doing. And we can't even afford to just match what everyone else is doing. We've got a lot of ground to make up, so we have to better what everyone else is doing. In a summer where other clubs are spending 300-odd mil. Mad. But this is what is required to win the Premier League these days, all right? It has to happen. So these sorts of windows are just going to be par for the course now. I mean, they have been for a while. But if you've got the league winners from last season spending about 300 mil, then you've got a match, all right? And you're talking about funds being tight when the new stadium begins. Well, remember what happened with Arsenal. They went through a long period of austerity. I hope it isn't the case, but the reality is it's probably quite likely. Arsenal went through, 10, 15 years of it? Spurs, I think, did a look. To be fair, Spurs have actually come out a bit quiet. Although I think they're selling off the names of their stadium, aren't they? They might be getting like a Saudi investment. The 3 promoted teams have no chance of keeping up with this spending. Hey, I think Sunderland has spent north of 100 mil, haven't they? Crazy. This whole summer feels like it's been a bit crazy. Like, are you being kidding? Like, actually, my dream summer might happen. The one that I spoke about at the start. And I was like, look, I know it's not going to happen. But in a fantasy world, this is what I would do. With all these sales that have not actually materialized. But we've actually signed the top 2 players who were on my list. The third player was Wharton. But Baleba is on that exact same level too, and in some regards is better. And then I had a goalkeeper down as well. And a striker. I had Gyökeres, and we've already got Šeško. It is mad. Sunderland has spent 175 mil. Are you mad? Come on. This is crazy. But this is the Premier League now. That's what I mean about... You just have to do it. The spends every summer are mad. Now, Baleba's head is obviously turned. And I would expect that first bid to go in. From all the comments down there, my guess would probably be a package worth in the region of 90 mil. Right? That's what I think. Around about 90 mil. That's probably going to be, I don't know, 70 mil up front with 20 mil in add-ons. It's possible. But I think the first package offer will be in the region of 90. And I expect it to go in. I really do expect it to go in. Peter, thank you very much for reminding me down there. The Fantasy Premier League.com. 1 second there, I've got to sign in. So I've renewed the league that we had last year. So it should now be open again for everyone to get involved. Let me check. Leagues and Cups. United People's TV. How do I get the league code? Invite players. Copy the auto join link. There you go. Right. So let's have a quick look. We are back in the game, peeps. Is that the right one there? Man, I've got too many tabs open today. It's going a bit nuts. We've got the league back. I don't know how many people are actually in it. You can't even see it on screen. Great. That's good news. Right, let me drop that link down there. That is the auto join link. So if you click that, it should just join that league. It's free to join. We're going to be doing spot prizes across the course of the season. Going to be speaking with the community manager. Fingers crossed getting him in. Ideally for the start of the season, but maybe slightly after. And then he'll be in charge of bringing those prizes. Maybe we'll do some kits. We'll do some spot prizes. We'll do some cash. We'll do some tickets. We'll do some fun stuff across the course of the season. So make sure you get involved in that league. Someone down there saying Baleba's value is 40 mil. What drunkard's saying that in the comments? Ain't no way you're getting him for 40 mil. They paid 30 mil euros for him. Sunderland has spent more than Real Madrid. Is that true? That's nuts. Gungshi, how you doing, dude? You've been so generous, man. Gifted another 10 memberships. Absolute icon. By the way, I'm ringing Royal Mail today and I'm whipping out the people's elbow. I've still not heard anything about this. Never. All I can say is don't ever get a PO box with Royal Mail. They have screwed it up beyond belief. Beyond belief. But maybe it isn't them. Maybe it's the local sorting office. Either way, someone's not done their job properly. And I just hope that anything that you've sent in hasn't got lost and it's just stuck in the local sorting office and I'm just going to get a big box at some point. That's what I want. Right, you, sir, have been coming in here and you've been spamming, so you are going into a timeout for 24 hours. Stop coming in here, spamming the same thing and repeating it, all right? And stop making stuff up. Boring people, man. Find something better to do. For real. Get involved in the chat. Right, we'll speak about Donnarumma now, which is going to be an interesting chat, I think. There's a couple of super chats. Let me read these out. 80 mil plus Kone plus a buyback clause. Kone going on loan there? I don't think Brighton would do that. Wouldn't make sense for them to do that. When they sold Caicedo, they found Baleba and they repeated the pattern. I don't know why they would take Kone on loan and then send it back to us. How do bids work? Is it just an email? Don't know. On a WhatsApp. Barada's got Tony Bloom on WhatsApp. Tony! Just sending him little gifs from Sopranos. How does the new kit feel? Feels like a new kit. It's nice. As I said, it's my favourite of the three. Please give a recap. Just joined. Spoken about Baleba. Now we're speaking about Donnarumma. There's a recap. What's going on down here? Right, let's speak about Donnarumma, right? Well, United want a goalkeeper this summer. Yeah. I think we've wanted a goalkeeper all summer. And if I'm being honest, I think we need two goalkeepers. Right? I think we need two goalkeepers. And you really don't think that Mainoo's got any future at this club because you keep talking about Mainoo going on loan to Brighton. Get stuffed. No chance. He is the understudy for Bruno. But staying at the club. Those two players, they're going to be topping and tailing. Maybe not topping and tailing. Mainoo's going nowhere. Nor should any consideration be for Mainoo going anywhere. But Donnarumma. If you haven't seen the news, let me cover what the news is, right? He was left out of the PSG squad for their Super Cup game that's coming up against Spurs. Winners of the Champions League versus winners of the Europa League. Should be us, but it's not. He will not sign a new deal at PSG. There's no agreement. And he will 100% leave the club. This summer or in 2026 as a free agent. He's not particularly happy about it, but that's what is going to happen. So, PSG, I think there's going to be some United fans who are a little bit, about this. Because some United fans are going to be looking at it in a similar way to the João Neves situation. PSG had just signed Lucas Chevalier from Lille. He's going to be their number one goalkeeper. They're now pushing Donnarumma out. Basically, don't want to lose him on a free transfer. You're not going to get a new contract. We'll just sign a new one. So you can leave this summer. So they left him out of the squad. He's going to be leaving so they can cash in. He doesn't want to leave, right? This is what The Athletic are saying. And Laurie Whitwell saying Donnarumma is willing to leave PSG, but United are not expected to pursue him. All right? And let's go into a little bit more detail here. Donnarumma is a signing that can only happen if Onana departs, and there are no signs of that at present. I think I might cover the Donnarumma story in my lunchtime video because I think there's a little bit more I can say on this. Someone there saying Chevalier should have been our signing. No, Jean Garcia should have been our signing, but he went to Barcelona. Chevalier, who was also on our list of goalkeepers that we looked at, he's going to be going to PSG. Another goalkeeper on that list, you know exactly who it was. Saint-Lemons. And it does feel like this is where United are positioning themselves. And you know what? Part of this is probably down to the fact that we can't sell Onana. Remember that he got the injury, and that ruled him out of the whole preseason. So there was no chance of him selling him anyway. We're seeing separate reports and suggestions from The Athletic that Onana is hoping to be fit for the opening game of the season against Arsenal. I think that would just be... It'd just be a little bit silly, wouldn't it? Someone who's not played any minutes throughout the whole preseason, and then he starts the first game of the season against Arsenal. I'm not just saying that from a perspective of I've lost faith in Onana. I just think that would be a bit of a strange thing to do. It's like, I don't know, United signing Šeško, who's not played a minute of preseason whatsoever, and then he comes in and starts against Arsenal. That would be like it would seem like a silly thing to do. It might work out, but you wouldn't be surprised if a mistake was to happen. It feels like United are going to be going down the path of Saint-Lemons rather than Donnarumma. Somebody who's an up-and-coming goalkeeper, had his breakthrough season last season, but isn't that established first-team quality, whereas Donnarumma is. You don't have Donnarumma and Onana in the same squad. You just don't. You got all saying loaning out Onana for the year, not an option. Well, there's been absolutely no conversations about Onana potentially leaving because A, he's been injured, and B, just United haven't been looking, I don't think. And then Bayindir is just... I've got no faith in Bayindir. Even as a backup, really. Might be unfair for me to say that, but I'm just explaining how my perception of Bayindir as a goalkeeper as a fan. Someone down there saying that you would play Tom Heaton. Yeah, so would I. Chippy, you're asking, send Onana to Sam's P.O. Box. It's quite funny, actually. It's quite funny. What else are you saying down here in the chat? Starting Onana would confirm he has all the power. No, it's nothing to do with power. It would just be to do with preference and choice. If Onana starts, it's because Amorim wants him to. Not because Onana's got more power than any other goalkeeper. But this is definitely going to be an interesting one because when it comes to Donnarumma, Fabrizio yesterday saying that Chelsea are not in active talks despite any links. And the Premier League is being touted as the most likely destination for him. And it's only going to really be United or Chelsea that could really potentially come in for him. As it stands, United aren't going to be making a move for him. That's the suggestion from The Athletic. But yeah, my lunchtime video, I'll run through this in a little bit more detail because I think there's different conversations that need to be had and different points. Someone saying, Manny, you're saying Heaton will start against Arsenal. I'll eat my hat and stream it live if it doesn't. I'll tune into that bad boy. And you're saying it'll be a bit of a baffling decision to start Onana with mixed messages. I suppose a little bit in terms of mixed messages. I just think it would just be a baffling decision. That's just what I think. Whether or not you think Donnarumma is the right goalkeeper to go for, I know we already know what the concerns are in the chat, so I don't need to ask you again because I've already asked you before. You'd be concerned about the wages. You'd be concerned about the fact that PSG are actually letting him go. Why is it that PSG are willing to let him go and not renew his contract? Do they know something that we don't? Question marks there. And, of course, you can't really keep Donnarumma unless you move Onana on. It's not the fact that any United fan would really argue about moving Onana on. Then that would be pretty unanimous. However, finding a club for the players that we want to sell. It's been the issue of the summer. It's been the issue in previous summers. And it will continue, really, until probably next summer, I think, at least. Lixu saying, normally work at night in Malta, so miss the lives. Baleba and Donnarumma is the most perfect window of all time. Big up to you tuning in, man. All the way from Malta. Well, I think if Baleba and Donnarumma were to happen, it would just... You couldn't really look at it and say it's anything else apart from a 10. I don't think both of those happen. I'm skeptical about whether Baleba is possible, but United clearly want to make it happen. I just don't know whether we're going to be able to afford... Because I've got no idea what we can afford. I've got no idea how much... I don't even know how big our bloody overdraft is or our credit card facility. There might be another extra 100 mil there that we don't quite know about, and that United are willing to spend that money up front this summer on Baleba and pay the extra 2, 3, 4 mil in interest over the course of this season because of the impact that would have on the team would therefore outweigh what those interest payments are. That seems to be the logic of United this summer. It's pay more now, offset that against the extra cost that you would get as a consequence of spending on the credit card, and then you actually accelerate the project. It's a risk. It's definitely a risk that United are taking this summer. But it's a risk with ambition. That's what I would call it. United are taking the gamble on the football team being significantly better with everything that's happening behind the scenes, the new Carrington, the new staff that are all with him, and the new players in. That's the aim and ambition of Manchester United this summer. And a big part of that, which I've got to speak about now, and it's kind of just going to piss me off mentioning his name. Go big or go home. And that's exactly what United are doing this summer. It really, to me anyway, that's what it feels like. Everyone asking for the fantasy code down there. I'll drop it one more time. I'll drop the auto join link, which is there. Where did the fantasy league code go? No, where is it? This is the code as well, all right? FPL code. Paste. Then that's it there. Yeah, it's going to annoy me now. I'll pop that there and I'll pin that to replace pin message. That's the FPL code. Curti is saying if you get 45 for Garnacho with PSR, will that allow us to sign both Baleba and Gigi? Curti, you'll notice that there's not one journalist or outlet that's really tried to say, well, this is exactly how much United have got to spend. This is how much United need to make in sales, and this will make United be able to spend X amount. There are so many bloody variables, and the finances are so complicated. It's not really as simple as sell Garnacho for X amount, and therefore United can spend X on Baleba and Donnarumma. It's just not the case. However, it's clear that we're willing and probably are spending on this credit facility. Now, Garnacho, right? That's what I mean about it. It's just going to piss me off speaking about this kid. He's a kid, man. I can't even call him a man. Chelsea is stepping up talks for Garnacho. Club-to-club discussions are now well underway. Garnacho only wants Chelsea. Personal terms are agreed and the two clubs are in negotiation over a fee. He is expected to become a Chelsea player this summer. And I don't care about that. I previously did. I've already said that. But I've compromised as a fan and saying I really didn't want Garnacho to be joining any Premier League rival, but now I just don't care. Just like, as long as you're not playing for my football club, and as long as we get the right money for us, for selling you, then go wherever the hell you want. Right? Joseph is saying, give Sancho for Donnarumma. I don't think PSG wants Sancho, to be honest. Schwab saying, compromise Garnacho for 35 to 40 mil. United should be getting £50 million for Garnacho. Simple. There is no other conversation that needs to be had. None at all. Imagine Garnacho's message here, Chelsea or I stay here and I don't play football for the next 6 to 12 months. Well, dude, enjoy yourself. Sit on that bench. You are not training with the first team. You're going to train in isolation. You can train in the porter cabins out there. You can kick a ball against that wall. You're not using the first team dressing room. You are no longer a member of the first team. That number is getting taken down. We're going to give your number to another academy player. You're not even training with the academy. We don't want your attitude to infect the lads who are committed to this football club. If you really think that you can play a game of transfer poker with Manchester United, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. Man, you can really tell that Ronaldo is Garnacho's idol, isn't he? Ronaldo's attitude was something that drove him to the very top of world football for a good amount of years. And then Ronaldo's attitude at the end stunk. Absolutely reeked out the place at United. And I don't care if any Ronaldo stands come in the comments here. Said at the time, I'll continue to say it. Absolutely reeked. Simply because his mind was still sharp, but his body was a few yards behind and he couldn't accept that. And was struggled to deal with that. Garnacho feels like he's the dog's bollocks. He feels like he's God's gift to football and that he's at the very top of the game already and deserves everything. It's kind of staggering, really. Right? It's not really a sport child. I don't know if I'd use that phrase. It's probably entitlement more than anything. It kind of feels like he deserves the world now, and if he doesn't get what he wants, then he just won't do anything. Like this idea of Chelsea or I stay here. Mate, you can watch the World Cup next summer from a sofa with some popcorn if you want, because you're not playing a minute of first-team football here, and you're not getting anywhere near that Argentina squad. If I'm Garnacho, well, I'll be less of a dick, but if I am Garnacho, his agent has got to do his job properly. Don't come in with this low ball bullshit. Like, why are you trying this? Like, we're not mugs, right? You're not mugs. Well, we're not mugs. You are. We are not accepting less than 50 mil. It doesn't matter whether you wait until the 21st of August and there's only 9 days left, mate. You're not leaving for less than 50. Get it into your head, lad. Madueke's been sold for 50. Elanga went for 55. You're not leaving for less than 50. Chance it if you want. You're the only one who's going to lose out of this, because United can actually afford to pay Garnacho's wages and him not be part of the first team. If it was Casemiro, for example, and we've got a 350 grand a week player, to freeze him out, even if the attitude was like this, it would be, that would be a lot to effectively waste. Garnacho, we can do that. What is he on? 50 grand a week? Something like that? $50 million, lads. Pay it, or you're staying. Pay it, or you're missing the World Cup. And the next time you've got the opportunity to play a World Cup is when you are, 26, 27 years old? Which is probably going to be the only World Cup, really, where you're physically capable of doing it at the top level. You want to take the opportunity away from yourself by being this stubborn. It's on you, mate. It's not hungover Sam again. I was only hungover yesterday. It's just pisses me off, man. Just pisses me off. And it's just, it does feel like a product of modern football that players have that sort of sense of entitlement, more so than they did before. I'm not saying it didn't exist before, but I think there's just more examples of it now. All right. Someone down there, I don't care what you say. Simiskimmed, you are so utterly wrong. He's defo not worth 50 mil. You are lying to yourself. You sound like a Chelsea fan. This is a player who's played over 100 appearances for Manchester United in the Premier League. How many goals has he scored? 30-ish? Probably more than that. He's 21, he's 22. He's got his entire career ahead of him. You don't just pay. This is how transfers work these days. You don't just pay for the player you are now. You pay a percentage of what that potential is. And the potential for Garnacho, it won't be in a United shirt, but there is bags of potential. He's £50 million. Done and dusted. Not a penny less. Sure, we might accept slightly lower up front if it means that we have a bigger percentage sell-on clause. But you're lying to yourself if you're trying to tell me that he's worth less than 50 mil. You really are. It doesn't matter about the attitude. It really doesn't. You're looking just at what's happening right now. You're not looking at the bigger picture. Why are so many people in the chat talking about bids being rejected? Where do you find your news, people? Where do you make it up from? For real. Can't see it. Gungshi saying if they can get 60 mil from us, for Mount, they can pay the same for Garnacho. Anyway, right? At least the talks are accelerating. Chelsea are coming in. They're going to try and lowball us. United have to stand firm on this one. The Garnacho one's going to probably be quite a big marker, I think. If we were to sell him for 30, 35 million, yeah, we get a bit of cash in now. But we haven't got rid of the moniker of being mugs in the market. Oh, people, you're taking it from the Sun. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. I can only just laugh at you if you're taking it from the Sun. But Now, this is an interesting one. Right, this is from The Athletic, saying AC, Dortmund, Leipzig, and Newcastle are all monitoring the situation of Hojlund. I think Newcastle's probably the most interesting one there. I think Newcastle are linked with Samu from Porto. Would actually probably be a good signing for them. Leipzig, we know what happened there. I wonder if the Leipzig conversation can be reignited now that it really has become abundantly clear to Hojlund that his future doesn't lie at United. Because Hojlund sort of saying no to Leipzig and that he didn't want to join there was before he was left out of the squad completely for the game at Old Trafford against Fiorentina. Completely forgot that. And he was just left out and Mount started up front. And that... Like, come on, mate. Come on. Like, you're not going to have a future at this football club. We've made that abundantly clear now. And therefore, Hojlund might change his mind a little bit. I do have a little bit of sympathy for the fact that Hojlund is somebody who I know wants to be here, who I know is going to graft hard, but the output's not there. 2 years in, United are making a decision to be ruthless here. You've had your chances. We could give you an opportunity. And it might actually benefit the squad. There is a possibility that it could be a good thing. But no, we're taking the decision to be ruthless, to reinvest, to go for Šeško, and to move you on. Good luck elsewhere. Shake your hand. You can come back to United anytime. You're welcome, but your chance is gone. Of course, Andy. Like, if you were at your dream job, your dream club, and even if your club or your job had signed a replacement, you wouldn't, I suppose at that point you'd be like, well, I'm not really wanted here anymore. It would kind of change your perspective on it a little bit, which I think maybe might be going here. But yeah, right now, he's at the biggest club he will ever be in his entire career. Unfortunately for Hojlund, the only way is down from here in terms of where he wants to be. It doesn't mean that he can't make a success of it. It doesn't mean that he can't have a fantastic career elsewhere. He just won't be at the club where he wants to be. But chances at United have been handed out like confetti to every player for as many years as you possibly can. A lifetime contract. You can stay for 6 years. What do you mean? That's right. He might do it next year. That's the difference we're making here with Hojlund, right? And it's a difference that we should be making with Onana. And maybe if Onana didn't get injured, that would be a difference we're making with Onana, but seemingly not right now. A couple of super chats here. I'll read these out and I'll read out your comments. Aaron, you're saying if we manage to sell Melton McMeltis, Garnacho, and Anthony, how likely are we to sign Baleba and a good goalkeeper? I wouldn't say guaranteed, but extremely likely. If you manage to sell the 3 players that we're desperately trying to sell and have been trying to sell all summer, in Sancho, Garnacho, and Anthony. Manny's saying Ronaldo's work ethic got him there. He's a product of the system. Messi, on the other hand, is a born talent. I'm told he was too small to ever make it. We're not going to get into a CR7 or Messi debate. All right? I think in terms of maximizing your potential, I don't think there's a better example ever than Ronaldo. In terms of like, you've got something and you work on it and you hone your craft and you become the lethal goal scorer. He was a phenomenon at that. And Messi could probably have played hungover. That's the sort of talent that he had. Like, unfairly. But not so much, because I'm happy for him. Manny's saying, if you don't get 50 for Ghana, loan him to Greece or Bulgaria, a lesser league. Let the lad learn what it takes to make it the elite level. You make it sound like he'd actually go there. He wouldn't go anywhere. I know it makes sense on paper to say something like that, but we've now learned about the power that players have. Garnacho wouldn't accept anything to move anywhere. But he can't stop United from freezing him out of the football club if he doesn't move to Chelsea. That's within our powers. Vinny saying, goodbye, Garnacho. No one's bigger than the club. Get Donnarumma and Baleba in. No one's bigger than the club. Jeez, do I have to go back and tell you about the players that have ended up leaving? Stam and Beckham and Van Nistelrooy and, yeah, quite a few. I think we'll be fine without Garnacho. Manny say, I'd loan Hojlund to Toon with an obligation to buy. Hojlund will kill it. I genuinely... I wonder whether Hojlund's time in the Premier League is a little bit damaged currently. And a move for him outside of the Premier League, I think, would be better. I really, really do. But anyway, I hope that the Leipzig stuff comes back. Nothing on Sancho right now, as it stands. This is a good one, I suppose. Harry Mass has got 15 suitors interested in a loan for him. I'm seeing him get linked to Sheffield Wednesday. Now, if I'm correct, is Sheffield Wednesday not going through some sort of turmoil? Is that like fan protests with owners, unpaid? Did they have like unpaid wage bills? I swear I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that one. I think I'm not though. DCL as a free agent. Someone banned Dudley down there. Dylan is saying, sentimentally, I like Hojlund and would like him to stay, but I do see the value, benefit and reason for selling him. My biggest concern is a backup for Sesko. Well, as it stands, it's going to be Cheeto, right? I'm not one for conspiracy, but I'm about to tell you a conspiracy. Has Onana got injured so we couldn't sell him? Can you actually injure your hamstring if you try? Like, is there a move you can do? I suppose you can just overstretch it on purpose. Be pretty painful to do that. Yes, it is Sheffield. I thought Sheffield Wednesday was a bit of a mess. I don't really know why United would be even having a conversation about that. You know, when we sent Maxi Oyedele went on loan last year, I think, to Forest Green Rovers. Hardly played a minute, and I think Forest Green Rovers got relegated. It's odd. Backup will be Xerxes. I suppose Xerxes will go in there as well. I've completely forgotten about Xerxes, although I actually forgot about all these photos. I reckon I'll bring these up in tomorrow's show in a bit more detail because there's some cool ones. But Šeško's had his first training session. Oh, sorry, let me bring some up now. I just forgot about this. Where are they? Oh, God. So much stuff. There's a good one. Pardon me. Because who's looking forward to this? Šeško leaping like a salmon. Little bullet header. That's what I want to see against Arsenal. 69th minute. Whip ball in from Mbeumo. Šeško diving bullet header into the corner. Not actually barring in. I'm being picky. Barring in. That's what I want to see. And also, it's good to see Xerxes back in training. That was my segue. So, Xerxes back in training. Onana's in training as well. I don't know how many minutes Šeško's actually played for Leipzig in their preseason. But the dude is 6'5" and has got a leap on him, like a basketball level leap. So knows why 69th minute. I don't think he'll start. So I'm saying that because I think he'll come off the bench. Don't try and be sus about it, all right? 70th minute. There you go. Even better. Although everyone got a bit... called me a bit sus yesterday when I was saying 6'5", hard as fuck. I was, of course, talking about the chant. Man, that Zlatan chant has to come back. It has to. You can't have another striker who's 6'5", and it's probably hard as fuck. You've got to remix that. So, United fans, get on that. A lot of your minds are in the gutter. Disgusting behaviour. Have you seen Harry Maguire's interview with Rio? Now, I started watching a little bit of that, and I'm going to watch the whole thing because I really want to. Anybody who's been a subscriber of the channel for long enough will know that I went in hard on Harry. I'm actually probably going to go back and rewatch those videos I did. I don't ever feel it was personal, but I went in double hard on Maguire with the criticism about him needing to be sold, about him needing to be stripped of the captaincy, how I was done with him. I might have misinterpreted a few things, but I'm definitely going to have to watch those videos again and then rewatch that interview. I think it's going to be a good one. Xerxes and Šeško in the box can make a good Tony P kind of team. Who's Tony P? No idea. Xerxes is better outside of the box. Šeško is going to be your proper number 9. In the box, on the end of crosses, tip of the attack, stretching the defences. That's where Šeško is going to be class. Frankie saying Rio mentions how hard he went on Harry Maguire as well. Yeah, you'll remember that I did a video the season just gone talking about Harry Maguire's redemption, calling out some... It's the thing, mate. You have to be... It's criticising things is the easiest thing in the world, mate. It really is. It's why like controversial and loud opinions exist the most on YouTube. Because it's so easy to just shout about something. It's harder to present solutions, and it's also quite hard to take a step back, to reflect on what you said before, take it all in, and maybe your opinions change. I think that's what Harry Maguire did with me. Now, it doesn't actually change the fact that I think Harry Maguire should be moved on next summer, and we go big on another central centre-back. But I think he deserves all the credit and praise that he gets. I just think he does. So I'm gonna go definitely watch that later today. But anybody who's just tuning in, welcome aboard. Right? Let me give you a quick summary. Baleba is keen on joining United. It's not a transfer request yet. Personal terms aren't agreed yet, but they really won't be a problem. And United know that. We had a conversation here in the chat, and I think the first bid is going to go somewhere in the region of 80 to 90 million in total. I don't think United can go any lower than that, or it would just be it's not that I think we've got one bite of the cherry with signing Baleba this summer, but I don't really think that Brighton don't want to be sat at this negotiation table. We're going to have to pull them to it, and you don't do that with a low ball offer. So I think we're going to have to go pretty close to what we would be willing to pay for him to get it done. And I think that would happen this week, because all the noise has continued to suggest Baleba's up for it. United players have spoken to him. Baleba's up for it. Baleba's up for it. So now the bid's got to go in. And then the Garnacho to Chelsea exit is, well, the talks are intensifying, or whatever you want to call it. Get that 50 mil bid in, or slap you upside of the head. Everyone's asking for the FPL code. It's literally pinned to the chat. I don't know how you can miss that, but it's there. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. That was a busy show. Lunchtime video today. We're going to probably have, I think we might have 2 days where we double drop, because it's just busy, man. I want to do a video lunchtime on Donnarumma, on the goalkeeping situation, on Onana, Bahinde, and Sen Lemons. Also then at 7 p.m, want to release a nice little edited video that we've done on Cunha, Šeško, and Mbumo, how they're going to work together and what they're going to be bringing together, and sort of the new United attack. Tomorrow, then intended on doing another double drop. I want to run through what United's best 11 is, looking at the squad, looking at the strength and the depth. And I also then want to drop another video in the evening that we've had prepared for about a few days now, on Kobbie and Kobbie's role in this team. And this doesn't really have anything to do with Baleba, because we've had this video ready for a week. We just haven't been able to release it. And we talk about his role and exactly where he fits in now in the Amrim system. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do drop a like on the video. This has been the summer of summers so far when it comes to signings. And I really don't think United are finished. If anything, I think it might get faster in these last couple of weeks. Take it easy.